what time it is. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time it says. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is.
Welcome to the Matthew Mania podcast. I'm Matthew Maschler, real estate broker who watches wrestling as if it's my job. And with me today, I have a very, very special guest, Jeff Tariff. Josh has spent 20 years in independent wrestling. He's worked as a wrestler, a manager, a commentator, a referee, a promoter. There's probably some other jobs that he's worked in the wrestling business that I didn't even mention just there. He's known as the Conscience Christian Rosenberg and is currently best known for managing the 7-foot anomaly, Alex Ace. Josh travels around the country performing improv and coaching improvisers and wrestling students on their promo work and building their characters. Originally from Longmeadow, Massachusetts, he currently resides in Santa Clarita, California. Please welcome to the Matthew Mania podcast, Jeff Tariff.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate being on.
All right. Sorry about our technical difficulties. If any of you are paying attention out there, the Real Estate Finder podcast logo came in instead of the Matthew Mania podcast logo. So I got to figure that out, but I didn't want Josh to have to wait too long because I really wanted to rip into this. I have so many questions. The Conscience Christian Rosenberg. I don't know if I'm saying conscience right.
The conscience, like you listen to your conscience.
You listen to your conscience.
Yeah, you have you're like almost like your angel and devil type thing.
Yeah.
Like what?
Jiminy Cricket.
Exactly.
Right. You're not the conscious like you're awake, like the unconscious.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
The conscience.
I like that actually. I'm the Jiminy Cricket of pro wrestling. I like that. I think that's
that N that changes it from being conscious to conscience.
Yes.
And Christian Rosenberg.
Yes, that is the name that was given to me 20 years ago.
Uh-huh. And he's the conscience. He's the conscience of what? The conscience of the promotion or the conscience of wrestling?
Pretty much the conscience of the people that I manage. So, okay. I'm the one, hey, you could be a monster, you could be a loose cannon and all that, but I'm the one that you listen to. I'm the one that will guide you to victory. I'm the one that will get you up that ladder to get in the main events, etc.
Listen to your conscience.
Exactly.
All right, I like it. And Christian Rosenberg.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
So that name came from a gentleman known out in California named Chris Kloss. He was best known as the commentator for XPW, which was the West Coast ECW, as well as the Coke Classic Wrestling Society X that had a few episodes on MTV many, many years ago. And I worked the show with him very early in my career. And he told me, based on the way that I looked and dressed at the time, that I reminded him of Chris Rose, the baseball analyst. And so he was like, I want to name you something like that, but we can't obviously go with Chris Rose. So he suddenly said, Christian Rosenberg. And I looked at him and I said, that's the dumbest name I've ever heard in my life. Why would I want to do that name? Plus, I'm also Jewish, so it's just like a giant contradiction. And 20 years later, there are people all around the world that know me as Christian Rosenberg instead of Josh. So it clearly worked because people know me for it.
And that's what I was that's what I was looking at. I'm like, Jewish, not Jewish. Right? Not a lot of Jews named Christian.
Exactly.
Not a lot of Christians named Rosenberg, but it can happen. You have mixed marriages and whatever.
One time I had a fan approach me after a show. The only time I ever had someone ask me, he's like, I'm confused. Your name is Christian Rosenberg. So are you Christian or Jewish? And then I just looked at him deadpan straight in the eye and said, I'm Buddhist, and walked away.
Yes. Yeah. You can be Buddhist because people have names for generations, but they can change their religion, intermarriage, and it's interesting. A lot of Jewish names sound German, or a lot of Germans' names sound Jewish. So, but if you go to Germany, you'll hear a lot of German-sounding names, and they're not that Jewish.
Right.
So, Chris, you get a Chris every once in a while, but Christian Rosenberg. So that's what it was. And then your real name, Jeff Tariff. Josh obviously sounds like a Jewish name. It's
Yep.
chocolate. But the evangelicals that use biblical names happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Tariff kind of sounds Muslim.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
Russian and Danish,
Uh-huh.
so I'm not quite sure off the top of my head where it came from with that. I do know I have a relative that came to America on the Ellis Island voyage, and that's what
Uh-huh.
brought my family to America many years ago.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so many people look at my last name and they instinctively think, oh, it's pronounced Tariff.
Tariff, yeah.
And it's just like, no, it's Tariff, just like the tax. I have some friends that call me Tax Man. What's hilarious is for many years I actually worked in a financial institution.
Uh-huh.
So when I had like customers and they take my card and like, oh, you were meant for this job with your name. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
we're gonna stop that.
That could happen. Yeah. But obviously we didn't come here, to dissect your name. I wanted to talk to you about a lot of things. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about was improv. You teach improv.
Yes, I do. So I perform and teach improv. I actually began improv maybe about 6 months after I made my wrestling debut. And as soon as I got into it, I could not believe the similarities that happened between performing in improv and performing in professional wrestling. And over the years, as I gained more experience in both, started finding more similarities and more ways of, hey, I could help these wrestlers with their improv. Likewise, I had so many friends in improv that loved wrestling and were just like, hey, we want to learn more about the wrestling side of things, and we can go to you. So I would do things to intertwine the two different worlds. And now I'm at a point where I will teach improv to wrestlers. I will teach the art of wrestling to improvisers. I will travel to various cities around the country and teach workshops and then perform various shows. I mean, we'll be in Vegas soon.
I wanted to tee up. Tell us about it. I'll drop this before WrestleMania, but WrestleMania weekend, you're doing an improv show.
I am. I'm doing a show. Calling it Yes and Wrestling. So the key phrase in improv is the yes and, because you always want to support whatever is happening on stage. So if you and I were doing a scene together, as an example, and you said, "Oh, it's a beautiful day outside," and I replied with, "No, it's ugly. It's terrible. What's wrong with you?" Well, now the scene's just dead because I just completely denied you and cut you off from all this. So I have to yes and support it. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Yeah, look at the sun and like the birds are flying. And you're building it. The same goes with wrestling. I mean, it's essentially like a no sell. If all of a sudden you're doing something and I'm just like, no, I'm not going to have anything of this. I'm not going to take part in this. Well, then you're not building the story. You're not building things along for the audience. So we combine it and do a show called Yes and Wrestling, where we're going to have, some well-known wrestlers will go on stage and share personal stories from the road, from their career, ideally funny stories. And based with whatever those stories are told, then there's a group of improvisers, including myself, that are going to create scenes based around those stories. So everything's going to be made up on the spot, and it will never be duplicated because it's completely improv. So whatever you see that time would be the only time you ever see it. And we'll just be going back and forth between the stories and the scenes. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And we got a great lineup of stars and guests for this particular event. We got the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, are going to be special guests. The Native Beast, Nyla Rose, will be one of our guests. Johnny TV, I don't know if he's going to go by Johnny Improv or whatever John Morrison, John Hennigan is going to, call himself. But him and I go way back in starting the combination of improv wrestling and shows in Hollywood. So be excited to perform with him again. And then Dan Barry, who I've had the pleasure of performing a couple times with on stage. Recently retired from wrestling, but long time, comedian as well, an actor. So they'll be the special guests along with the improvisers. So the improvisers include myself, Marta Morrow, who is a well-traveled stand-up comedian and actor, and he hosts the Before the Bell podcast. Emily May, who you might know, she's done many interviews, works as a ring announcer, backstage interviewer for all promotions across the country. Most recently, right now, with the Rhodes Wrestling Academy, Reality of Wrestling, and a number of others too. So it's going to be a great time at the Majestic Repertory Theater, just a mile off of Fremont Street, and it's going to be late night, 11:30 on Saturday night. So for people that enjoy night one of WrestleMania, and maybe even went to Kill Tony, you should be out of that by the time that, hey, we want more laughs, we want more comedy. Then you can come out to Yes and.
What night is yours?
Saturday night, the 18th at 11:30.
I wanted to tee it up. I was going to ask you. I said, I really wanted to come, and I gave you the lamest possible excuses to why I couldn't.
Yeah, Matt. Why don't you think you'll be there? Why don't you think you'll be at the show, Matt?
I said to Josh. Josh gave me his schedule for the week, and the only thing I had a conflict with all of them, right? but the weakest conflict was his show is Saturday night at 11:30, and I said I'd be sleeping.
I want to make sure that we emphasize in Las Vegas, WrestleMania week on a Saturday, Matt's going to be asleep by 11:30.
Saturday night in Las Vegas, sleeping at 11:30. And yeah. I used to be the king of Las Vegas, and I would not sleep. The first time, I always thought, like, when people come to Las Vegas on like business, I'm like, I don't think I can combine business and a Vegas trip, But I used to go to sleep in Las Vegas and call my wife back in on the East Coast in Florida to say good morning before I went to bed. But it was 5 a.m. Vegas time, 8 a.m. in Florida time. It worked. But the first time I had to combine Vegas and WrestleMania, I couldn't wrap my mind around it. For me, WrestleMania, I don't care where it is, Minnesota, Chicago, New Orleans, it doesn't matter where it is. I'm at WrestleMania. So people get excited or disappointed based on the venue, and it doesn't matter to me because it's WrestleMania. Going to New Orleans, people are like, "Oh, did you eat at Commander's Palace or Emerald's?" I'm like, "No, I ate at the concession stand. I had chicken fingers." It doesn't matter where WrestleMania is, and combining WrestleMania with Vegas. Last year, I had to physically stop myself and just take it easy and do it systematically and have my schedule, because otherwise I would die. But yeah, I have a very detailed calendar for Las Vegas. I did that on the last episode of the Matthew Mania podcast. There isn't a lot of time for sleep, but in the middle of the night, right? I don't have to write it in. The middle of the night is when sleeping is. But like Saturday, let me see. Saturday, WrestleMania basically starts at 2:30, and I have to get there at 10 in the morning, right? So 10 in the morning, 10 to 12 for the hospitality, and then 12:30 to 2:30 is getting to your seats and looking around, and and then I got to do it again Sunday. So
right.
So and I'm gonna be doing my BRCW show on Wednesday. I'm gonna be in Vegas for 8 or 9 days, but you can't go 8 or 9 days without sleeping. So I saw 11:30 Saturday night, and I'm like, I gotta go to bed. But I'm gonna try my best. I really want to hope to make your improv.
I understand. I understand either way. It is a late night show for but for the people that want to hang out with it. Also,
where's Kill Tony? Is it Dolby Theater?
The Kill Tony is whatever the theater is at Park MGM, whatever that theater is called. And then also, obviously, I know you're going to be certainly at Allegiant Stadium during WrestleMania. Yeah. People that are in town that might, if they're not going to the stadium, I'm also hosting a watch party at the Plaza Hotel Casino for both days of WrestleMania, Saturday and Sunday. And on Saturday, we're going to have RVD there where I'll be interviewing on stage for everyone and doing a live Q&A heading into, night one of WrestleMania for all of us to watch, since, we don't get, the cool hookups that of course the Matthew Mania gets by getting to go at 10 a.m. and we see him sit front row and pat Roman Reigns on the shoulders as he heads to the ring and all that good stuff.
It doesn't suck, I'll tell you that.
I know it does not.
But we all work hard.
Yes.
In our careers to get to WrestleMania, all year to get to WrestleMania. It is a big deal. So tell me about your other shows WrestleMania week.
So I did the improv show and then the watch-alongs, and then my other big one will be with Relentless Pro Wrestling, which will be happening that Friday, the 17th at 5 p.m. at the FSW Arena, where your show will be on Wednesday. The show that I'll be a part of will be at that same arena on Friday at 5 p.m. And I'm grateful that I get to be part of the main event of that show, where my anomaly, 7-foot Alex Ace, he is taking on the very viral, very popular on social media, Element of Surprise, Mikey O'Shea for the SoCal Heavyweight Championship. And so that will headline that show. It's called Sin City Slam for Relentless Pro Wrestling. And, tickets are available on Eventbrite for that as well, for those of you that want to check it out. Also appearing on the show will be J-Rod, who is now also being known because she is one of the newest American Gladiators that you'll be able to see on Amazon Prime. She is going after the SoCal Women's Championship against Danica Bloodwin, as well as our Cruiserweight Championship. EJ Sparks, an incredible up-and-coming athlete out on the West Coast. He's our Cruiserweight champion. He is defending the title against kind of at this point, I would kind of consider him a legend around the West Coast, Gino Rivera, who has wrestled for every promotion imaginable. Every time the WWE comes out west, you will see him working those shows as well. He is a fixture between New Mexico, Arizona, and California. So he's trying to take the SoCal Cruiserweight Championship from EJ Sparks. All that plus some other matches as well. It'll be a great time. 5 o'clock at the Future Stars of Wrestling Arena.
That is awesome. So you're living in Santa Clarita, California.
Correct. That's where I live. Yep.
That's in Southern California?
Yeah, I live about 30 miles north of Hollywood.
North of Hollywood?
Yeah.
So where does Southern California start?
That's honestly a great question. I feel like maybe Southern California begins right around San Diego.
Well, that's the southernmost part.
Right. Yeah, like at the very bottom. And then I would say it would probably end. I don't know, Fresno? Like SoCal is, they consider SoCal like half of California.
Yeah.
So
see, I always thought SoCal was south of LA, but LA is Southern California. So,
yes.
So, but I don't know. If I lived in LA, I'd say LA. I wouldn't say Southern California.
Because I'm 30 miles north of Hollywood, but I'm still also considered in Los Angeles County.
Okay.
Because that's just so massive as well.
Sure.
So it's I don't know whoever made the geography decisions for the state, but it is interesting with that.
Yeah. All right. So I see that now. You're at Santa Clarita. It's just north of LA. I'm not as familiar with Los Angeles. And I don't know. It's weird. Like it embarrasses me a little bit, but like, why should it? I'm from New York and lived in Florida for 20 years. I'm an East Coast guy. I've been to LA only a handful of times. Most recently, the WrestleMania in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. The time before that would have been Survivor Series. And I think I went once with my family in the last 20 years, and I think I went once as a kid. Oh, and then WrestleMania Play Button when it was in Silicon Valley.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Yeah.
I was at that one. Yep.
Yeah. I call it WrestleMania Play Button because they didn't use the number.
Logo. Yeah.
Yeah. They used the play button logo.
Yeah.
From an iPod. Apparently Vince thought numbers made it look old, whereas I think numbers make it look classic.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Numbers, like, to me, the numbers add the tradition in
Yeah.
as well. It's like, hey, this has been going around for I mean, there's a reason that the Super Bowl always has the Roman numerals of whatever
Right.
number it's at.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
So it was WrestleMania play button, and then I called it Silicon Valley because they never quite said where it was. And when I bought my plane tickets, I originally was looking to go to San Francisco, but it's nowhere near San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And we stayed in San Jose, but the stadium was in, where's the stadium?
Santa Clara.
Santa Clara, which is different than Santa Clarita.
Correct. There are lots of Santas in California.
But it's Santa Clara, Clara versus Clarita. That's what messed me up when you said Santa Clarita. I was like, wait a minute, I've been to Santa Clara. Stayed in San Jose. I thought I was going to San Francisco. We stayed in San Jose. It was in Santa Clara, so that's why I just said Silicon Valley, because that's kind of how they build it. They build it from Silicon Valley. So
because my brother lives in San Jose, and yeah, that was the funny thought, because I stayed with him when I went up there for that. And it was the type of thing of, oh, well, it's going to be where the San Francisco 49ers play. Yeah, but they play in Santa Clara. Okay, where is that? Oh, that's like down the street from San Jose. I was just like, wait a minute. So what? I'm so confused.
Everything was in San Jose. Raw, not Raw afterwards. It was SmackDown Friday night. Saturday night was Hall of Fame. Late Saturday night was NXT at Santa Clara, at San Jose Community College, and then Sunday was WrestleMania, and then afterwards I'm like, why are they all getting on the road to Raw? Like, I want to go to Raw. I don't want to go home. I want to go to Raw. All the wrestlers are going to Raw. Like, they should have Raw here. Which is what they eventually did. No,
right.
Wait, I'm sorry. Raw was
Raw in that San Jose? Oh, yes, it was. I went to it.
All right, now I know what it was. It was Raw was there, but SmackDown was on the road because SmackDown was still being filmed on Tuesdays.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yes, because for years, SmackDown bounced from Tuesday to Thursday to Friday. There was a period it was on Sunday, I think, as well.
SmackDown was still filming on Tuesdays. So it was Hall of Fame Saturday night, Hall of Fame Sunday WrestleMania, Monday Night Raw, and then they had to go on the road to do the Tuesday SmackDown.
Yeah, because I remember that Raw, because that Raw had Pac's debut as Neville on the main roster.
Yes.
And I believe that was also the one where Brock F5'd Michael Cole.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a good one.
I believe that was that one. Yeah, because it was after that. Because Brock was mad at Seth Rollins for cashing in and came down there in a celebration and just destroyed everyone, including Michael Cole.
That was the first time I had good seats.
Those were the best seats I ever had for a Raw. I was able, because for years I was host and kind of like head producer for the wrestling department for AfterBuzz TV, which is Maria Menounos' podcast network. And for that Raw after Mania, we had ringside seats, by hard cam. So definitely the best seats I ever had for a Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, because so with me, I started watching in 2011 with my son. We watched it on pay-per-view, and then it came to Miami in 2012. We went to New York 2013, New Orleans 2014, and then I didn't think we were going to go to California, and New Orleans isn't that far from Florida. And Dave was like, "Is it far?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "But Dad, we go every year." So then I was looking at the on-location prices, and I was having trouble with it. But then I realized, well, it gives you everything: Hall of Fame and Raw and the thing. I didn't want to stay in their hotel, but then I'm like, well, I can just book any hotel I want. I don't have to stay in their hotel. And my friend Stuart stayed in the. So I did the travel package, and really, people talk about the pricing now. It really felt like a bargain. It was the first 5 rows. It might have been $3,000 at the time, and it was the first 5 rows of Hall of Fame, Mania, Raw, 2 sessions of access, one of which being a VIP, and then a brunch with a meet and greet, which turned out to be Wade Barrett and Rusev.
Okay,
and so it was a great little package. And originally I had 4th row, and then they upgraded me to 3rd row. So
Get all that for $3,000. I mean, everyone would jump up and down for that today,
right?
Now it's $3,000 for $3,000 for the brunch.
Yeah. Right. I mean, you can't, Mania for $3,000 would be incredible.
Yeah.
But it was really a nice package, and then but it was hard to justify. But I just didn't want to fly across the whole country and watch on the jumbotron with no commentary.
Sure.
So that was fun, and then I stayed at the Fairmount, and it was the same hotel, which was not part of the package. And it was the same hotel all the wrestlers were staying in.
Mm-hmm.
It was what an incredible weekend.
I'm glad you mentioned, as far as, I'm unsure I want to do it because I'm not hearing the commentary, because I personally truly feel that the commentators as a whole, it's like not one individual, but commentators as a whole are the most underrated position on a wrestling show, because they're obviously the ones driving the stories for everybody. So if I had to get up from my couch to get water, and my back is turned, but I'm still hearing Jim Ross or Michael Cole or Tony Schiavone or Excalibur, whoever it is, I'm still, even if I'm not watching it, I can still visualize everything based on their description and based on the storytelling. It is very different. Obviously, there's nothing like being there live and hearing the sound of the mats and being around the music and the pyro in the crowd and all that. But there is that one missing element on, hey, we're not hearing the story that the commentators are being told. Yeah. So it's just goes to show every role plays such an important factor on making a complete project, a complete performance.
Absolutely. I didn't realize how great Michael Cole was for years. I wasn't impressed with him until I heard other commentators, on other shows, whether it was WWE or competitors. And I'm like, Michael Cole's pretty good.
Michael's great. He's fantastic.
I liked Lawler, and I liked, just some of those commentators from back in the day.
Yep.
And I just thought Michael Cole was a little bit vanilla, but he really isn't. He really it's that he's not putting his personality in it. Everything he's doing is for the benefit of the show and the storytelling.
Yeah.
And that's hard. And so when I hear other commentators, I'm like, Michael Cole's really good.
That's the other thing, because you always got to make sure that your job is not to put yourself over. You're putting whatever's happening in the ring over and the story over and all that. Because there are some commentators that will bring up many times like, oh, I have never seen this, or I don't know why he would do this. Well, it ain't about you. It's about what is the impact that this guy is doing to this person.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Cole, and for doing it as consistency and going through all these different eras of whether it's, the true authentic, the adult attitude era, PG era, the constant throwing in ads era. They're doing all these things though, but he still consistently provides emotion and storytelling and intrigue into every match.
We have Matthew Raywald, WWE's Aiden English, doing commentary at our shows, at BRCW shows, and he's very, very good.
He's outstanding.
Yeah,
I love, honestly, I really feel him and Tom Hannafin are a very underrated commentary duo on what they do with TNA. So he's great. I need to drink whiskey with him one of these days because I know he's an expert at that.
Well, if you come down to a BRCW show, I could help you out with that.
I'm down. Let me know when.
Yeah, it's a haul from Santa Clarita.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a commute, but we'll make it work.
All right. So when do you get out to Vegas?
I will be arriving on Wednesday afternoon, and then I'm immediately jumping into supposedly I'm needed to film something for Relentless Pro Wrestling like as soon as I get there. I'm not quite sure what's happening with it, but we'll do that. And then I'm going to be finally meeting you in person Wednesday evening
at the Red Meat Lovers Club Beefsteak Vegas.
I mean, that just the name alone makes me hungry. So
Beefsteak Vegas?
Beefsteak Vegas.
Yes.
What's better than beefsteak and Vegas? Come on.
Yes.
So I'm very excited to be able to attend that event and get to meet you and meet some other people, see a couple friends of mine that I know will be there that I haven't seen in a while. So it'll definitely be a fun time.
All right. I have to get you on the did I get you did you get a ticket yet for beefsteak?
You I believe sent me some sent me something a while back, but I know you changed like the location got changed and then you gave me that update. Yeah. But you sent something. Let me
All right. Well, I'm doing tickets now, so let me I just texted Neil the Heel. So hopefully he processes your ticket. But either way, I'll see you there. Beefsteak Vegas. Perfect. Wednesday night, April 15th, 8 o'clock, 2 p.m. for the BRCW show, 8 o'clock for Beefsteak Vegas. And then Saturday night, 11:30 for Josh's improv show. Are you doing WrestleCon?
I am not scheduled for WrestleCon up to this point, unless someone at the last minute wants to put me and Alex Ace in their booth. We're certainly down for that. But I was trying to look up and like, what are the prices, for this if I were to do it myself? I'm like, it is not cheap. So, like props to the people who are, paying their own way to be, displayed at WrestleCon. But like Alex Ace and I.
From a promoter's point of view, it's not so bad because you can change talent every hour.
Sure.
So so I filled in. I have 2 hours and each table you can have two talent. So
gotcha.
So for me, I'm learning as I go, right? So I'll know more next year. This is the first year we did doing a table, but I could bring people in and for some of my people, if I could timeshare the hours on Thursday and Friday and bring people in for an hour at a time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be there Thursday from 5 to 7. I'll be there Saturday from 12 to 2. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Friday from 12 to 2. Won't be there at all Saturday or Sunday because I'm going to Mania. But then we have people coming in Saturday and Sunday at the BRCW table. So, so all my listeners, if you want to hear Josh Saturday night 11:30, and then tell them again about your two other shows.
Yeah, so Saturday 11:30 p.m. at the Majestic Repertory Theater for Yes and Wrestling. Friday 5 p.m. Relentless Pro Wrestling's biggest event that they've ever through Sin City Slam, where the 7-foot anomaly Alex Ace is going to take that SoCal Heavyweight Championship from Mikey O'Shea. And then if you're out there for WrestleMania but are not actually going to WrestleMania, you can hang out with me at the Plaza Hotel Casino Saturday and Sunday. We're doing a watch party there. And on Saturday, we have Rob Van Dam there doing a live interview, him on stage, do a live Q&A. All this information, you can follow me, and find more information on my socials, Twitter and Instagram. It's my name, Josh_Tariff. If you want to keep track of Christian Rosenberg, the Conscience, you can follow him on Instagram at i.am.christianrosenberg.
All right. Josh, thank you for joining me on the Matthew Mania podcast. I look forward to seeing you in WrestleMania in Las Vegas. It's going to be epic. And my last question is Saudi next year? You going to go?
If someone's paying me. if I'm getting some of that Saudi money, maybe. But are you going to go?
I'm going.
Are you really?
As long as they open up those airports.
Because, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at this point that they do just move it with everything going on. I mean, because because New Orleans kind of got screwed out of this over the last couple of years. So it'd be nice if all of a sudden they got it back from all this. But if it does end up happening in Saudi, I'm going to be really curious how it all works. But I'll be looking for you in the crowd.
But for me, well, I don't know where I'm going to be in the crowd. I don't know if I can
Oh,
compete
come
with.
on. We know you're going to be front row. We
I don't
know
know what
this.
I'm not. I haven't been front row for Mania in a long time. So, so no, and the craziest thing is, like, it's not WWE's option to cancel. Like, it's Saudi
Right.
has to cancel.
Right.
So it's still it's a year away. So who knows with this war? But luckily, World War III didn't happen today.
Yeah,
So
not today. Didn't happen
not
today.
today.
We don't know about tomorrow, but it didn't happen today.
As the day of the filming of this, I don't know what we're
Yeah.
going to drop in a couple days, but maybe World War III will happen while it drops. Who knows? You can wake
Yeah.
up one day and it'll be World War III. An entire civilization could be wiped out.
There you go.
It's kind of scary. It was kind of scary waking up today. Today, by the way, today we're recording this on April 8th, and it was supposed to be Parkland and Bridges Day, and it's not. So obviously a little grateful that it is not Parkland and Bridges Day. Josh, I was writing my real estate newsletter, and I was going to write about Parkland and Bridges Day.
Well, it's funny because like you and I, we definitely have a lot of kinks. Obviously, all the stuff with wrestling and our lifelong passions and appreciation for it. My father, who still lives in Massachusetts, he is a realtor out there as well. So and so I've dabbled a little bit in the world of real estate. Like there was a point where I worked as a processor, so I know a little bit of the stuff. I'm by no means an expert in the area, but I've certainly, have followed and know, like my dad's history with stuff out in Massachusetts. So, between that, I love going to Florida and perform. And then of course, all this crazy, wrestling stuff that you and I are, nice and obsessed with. As we, so when did you start watching? I started at age 3.
What year was that?
That would have been 1986-ish, like late 86, early 87 is when my dad's father, introduced me to wrestling. It was a fun exchange because I would go to their house.
Yeah.
I would go to their house and they only had one cartoon because they didn't have, cable or anything back then. It was, but they had a Popeye the Sailor Man VHS. And I would ask my grandfather to watch that with me every time I went over his house every Saturday. And it was like a trade-off. He would sit and watch it with me. And then in exchange, I would then sit and watch wrestling with him. And I distinctly remember the first wrestler I remember was Dino Bravo. And I remember hating Dino Bravo. I remember thinking he's just a mean guy. And I want him to get beat up. and it's just always stuck with me ever since. And my dad took me to my first show when I was 7. And actually, I made sure I had it down here because in case you wanted to see it. So this is what got me obsessed with wrestling. So I'm a Bret Hart guy. And my very first wrestling show, it was a live event. The main event was Hart Foundation versus Demolition for the tag titles.
Okay.
And sitting ringside, I got Bret's shades. He put them on my head.
Oh yeah.
So that's 7-year-old me of a photo my dad took with the shades. Those are the actual shades he put on my head.
Oh,
and
wow.
behind it, that is the card of that show that I had in the program. So at that moment, Bret Hart became God to me. And I was just like, I want to work in wrestling. And the rest is history. Yeah.
All right. That sounds amazing. And I mean, one of the reasons I started the podcast was to tell these stories. I was born in 72, towards the end of 72. So I was about 5 years old when Bob Backlund started his championship run.
Sure.
People talk about like the PG era, and I talk about how when Bruno Sammartino was champion, you had to be, I don't know if it was 21 or 18, but kids couldn't go to wrestling shows like at Madison Square Garden. So they dropped the title. The title change went, Superstar Billy Graham, defeats Bruno Sammartino, and then Bob Backlund comes in and becomes the new white meat babyface champion. But that was to appeal to a younger audience, and then they lowered the age at the Garden for people to attend these wrestling shows, and that's when my father started taking me. So I was about 5 years old. the P. I that to me that's the PG era.
Yeah.
When Bob Backlund got the championship, and then
he was complete the white meat babyface guy back then. Absolutely.
Yeah. So then and then in the early 80s as Hulkamania was running wild, and it was. I mean, you don't understand. You weren't alive. You don't understand what that first WrestleMania was like.
Right.
WrestleMania's in Las Vegas, and I talk to people in Las Vegas that don't watch wrestling. They don't even know that it's in Las Vegas. Like that's next week.
Yeah.
Like everyone knew WrestleMania. Like everyone knew WrestleMania was coming, because Saturday Night Live and all these. It was just on everything. Look, people complaining right now, literally right now, people complaining about celebrities in this WrestleMania, right?
Yeah.
That they're bringing in celebrities to try to sell tickets. That was literally the first WrestleMania. It was supposed to be Hulk Hogan and Jimmy Superfly Snuka, and they took Snuka out to put Mr. T in. And wrestling fans were upset. They wanted Snuka, and the wrestlers were upset that this guy from Hollywood, Mr. T was the most popular actor. The A-Team was the most popular TV show. That they took this Hollywood actor and they put him into this story. And they put Jimmy Snuka on the sidelines. Jimmy Snuka is still upset when he was alive. Was still upset by this, by being sidelined by a Hollywood actor. The first WrestleMania. So people who are upset. So I talk about that. I talk about PG era in 1977. I talk about the first WrestleMania. They were putting in celebrities. You had Cyndi Lauper there. You had Muhammad Ali as guest referee. You had Billy Martin. You had Liberace. It was insane, that first WrestleMania. And we were not in the front row. We were up at the top. But my dad took us. Trying to be a good dad. You take the kids to sports events, football and baseball. And 1985, we went to that WrestleMania. But I'm pretty sure we went to Shea in '83 for the Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant match. Mm-hmm. So when WrestleMania 3 happens 5 years after that, 3 years after the first WrestleMania, and it's the first time ever that Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant are going to face off, we're like, we saw that.
We saw that a couple years ago, didn't we?
Yeah, first time ever.
Yeah,
but yeah, we used to watch Jimmy Snuka fly off the top of a steel cage. So I stopped watching wrestling around 1987. That's what I pinpoint.
So you stopped around the time I started.
Yeah. And I didn't watch until 2011 when my son was 7, and I put it on as a lark. So I didn't watch from 87 to 2011. So I didn't watch any of The Rock, Yokozuna, Undertaker, Stone Cold, none of it.
I can the only person that ever gave me like nightmares that scared me as a kid was Paul Bearer. So so Undertaker debuted when I was around 7. Like 7 or 8 is when he debuted, and then Paul Bearer came in. I wasn't scared of the Undertaker. I was terrified of Paul Bearer.
You know who scared me?
Who?
Cowboy Bob Orton.
Oh, you didn't want to get hit with that cast?
Well, Rowdy Piper was the biggest heel.
Yes.
But he could only do it because he had Cowboy Bob behind him.
Yeah.
And everybody else was scared of Piper. Everybody thought Piper was crazy. He's hitting Jimmy Snuka with a coconut. But I'm like, but if Piper is running back to Orton, like to protect him, if that's who Piper is hiding behind, that guy's scary. So that was it. That was it for me.
All right. Yeah. I'll give you one last quick Bob Backlund story since you brought up Bob Backlund. So in his second run, like in the mid '90s, like when he feuded with Bret Hart, won the championship, and then did his like presidential run. During that like presidential run. So my dad, as I mentioned, is a realtor. He also for nearly 50 years, or for 50 years, excuse me, worked in education in Connecticut and was an assistant principal at a middle school. And Bob Backlund made an appearance at his school.
Oh, wow.
And my dad was he knew about it, but wanted to keep it a surprise because he wanted to try to surprise me by getting me like Bob Backlund's autograph at his school. But then he came home that night. I didn't know Backlund was there. And he's like, hey, I have to tell you something. So Bob Backlund was at our school today. Wow. And I was going to surprise you by getting you an autograph. But when I asked him to give an autograph for my son, he asked me to name all the presidents in order and I couldn't do it, so he wouldn't give me an autograph.
Oh. What a heel. What a heel.
I'm like, wait a minute. So he refused to give the principal an autograph for his son because you lived the gimmick.
Yeah.
You stayed in the character. As an adult, I appreciate it. As a kid, I was like, I hate Bob Backlund. Now I'm like, that's hilarious to me.
You know, when I was in WrestleMania for New Orleans, Velveteen Dream and a couple other heels were walking up and down Bourbon Street.
Okay.
And just like peacocking, just strutting. And, you know, I tried to go up to them and like get an autograph or get a picture, and they wouldn't do it. And I got so mad. Then I realized they weren't walking to get from place to place, right? They weren't doing what I was doing, what everybody else was doing, hanging out and having fun and going to restaurants. They were working.
Yeah.
And later on, I talked to people that they were mad. I go, they worked you. They're heels. Like, why would you, like, you don't let it get so mad. I watch people like line up for MJF's autograph, and he doesn't give them an autograph, and they get mad. I'm like, it took me a while to realize they just wanted to be told off, right? Like, but like some these heels that are staying in character, like when they work you, it's so much fun.
It's such a blast. Like when you can understand and appreciate it, it's an absolute blast.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I have to go. I have another appointment, and I have to pack for Las Vegas, WrestleMania, BRCW Vegas Vacation, Josh Tariff, Improv, yes, and we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yes, we are.
You know what time it is. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time is his. You know what time it is. You know whose time it is. You know what time it is. Matthew Mania, the time is his. Yeah, got him shook, scared, can't look. We're not afraid of the big bad wolf. First comes the right, followed by the left hook. Execute perfect, this is textbook. If you ever test, make sure you bring the best. Head into the ring with the M on my chest. Any match, bring the ladders and the tables. Lock us in the cage and nobody can save you. When it's war, I'm coming to destroy. Napalm blast, I'm coming with the noise. They chant for the king, the girls and the boys. They saying I'm the best cause they didn't have a choice. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is. You know what time, you know what time, you know what time it is.